Welcome to Brit Force. My name's Tom Darwood and I'm the independent candidate in Stratford-on-Avon. This general election was called to secure strong and stable leadership. I believe I can point to those three persons who are in our very midst. They are the monarch, the Prime Minister, and this constituency. The monarch is the person I believe can lead the nation in a constitutional act to conclude the hereditary monarchy. Now this act is exactly like the parent who lets a child go at a certain stage in their lives, when the love and devotion of the parents comes to a kind of an ending in which the parent feels proud of the child, and the child also wants to let go of parental guidance. For example, either to move out of home and to buy a property and start a family. Something major in the lives of both parent and child, in which pride is reciprocated and a new life begins. Now I believe a new nation can begin now at this particular time because of Brexit. I believe this is the perfect time in which the constitutional conclusion to the hereditary monarchy exactly reflects what a parent does when a child comes of age and needs to be inspired to go forth in the world and stand on their own 2 feet. I believe this is the perfect time in which the British constitutional monarchy can do exactly this, but in the constitutional conclusion to the hereditary monarchy. The next person who can create strong and stable leadership, I believe, will remain, with I hope after the general election, Theresa May. What I propose you can do to create a balance to Brexit is to take up an idea which is inspired of the constitutional conclusion to the hereditary monarchy, and that is a quest for nation building. What I propose is this: Britain has an immense history and proven record of what it is to create a nation. Theresa May, I believe, can go on a quest to reform the United Nations into a nation-building institution. From its great legacy of peacekeeping, which essentially is going after the horses bolted, why not create an institution which prevents that? And that is to create an institution which has a group of people who can say, look, we can help you to build a nation. As a template for this idea, I suggest we lease the entire Thames estuary in Essex to the United Nations and say to the United Nations, look, on this piece of land, I believe 2 things can be achieved. A workforce under British supervision can firstly create the 3rd London airport. We could call it the United Nations International Airport. It will be paid for by the United Nations, but under British supervision. On that piece of land, we can also create a mini state, perhaps in the likeness of Singapore. It will be separate from the authority of the British Parliament from Westminster. It will have its own governing body and all the infrastructures which a nation requires: industry, education, health, transportation, communication, etc., can be displayed there, and if that template could be created, it can be replicated in any part of the world. And that is the political initiative that I propose after the constitutional initiative. Thirdly, I've come to Stratford-on-Avon because I feel divinity has hedged upon Stratford-on-Avon because of my visitation to Stratford last November and December of 2016. In my leaflet, I've suggested that divinity hedged upon my candidacy. In this short talk, it is too complex to convey to you why I believe that, but there are 3 talks which follows this short talk to try and convey to you why I feel the hand of the Almighty is on this candidacy and also on this constituency, so that things can happen after the general election. What can happen after the general election is that I can propose these ideas with greater detail, perhaps sponsored by someone in this constituency, a business person, an institution, the church, etc., etc. What I would like to do is come back and create a group of people, a steering group, who can look into these ideas. And I've written various things, devotional and secular, but it is a secular that I want to promote especially, and that is a passion play of British history and of Western civilization and also of Christendom. I've also compiled a kind of idiot's guide to Western civilization and how British culture developed. I've also proposed that in my devotional writings they cut the mustard in presenting myself as a spiritual bard to complement the great legacy of William Shakespeare. So I hope in these 3 ideas, strong and stable leadership can be presented. And not only that, but what is the manifesto of these 3 strong and stable leadership? I hope you can see that I've offered an idea which can be appealing, convicting, and create much hope in this general election. Thank you.